Have you ever considered the possibility that your unhappiness is not a misfortune that happened to you? What if it is a tool that you are actually choosing to use? What if I told you that the pain of your past has zero power over your future? This includes childhood neglect, failed relationships, moments of public shame. These are uncomfortable and even offensive questions to many. Most of us prefer to believe that we are victims of our circumstances. Frankly, being a victim is far easier than being responsible. It gives us an excuse. It provides a story that explains why we aren't moving forward. It protects us from the terrifying risk of trying and failing. But today, we are going to explore a philosophy that strips away those excuses. We are diving into a perspective that suggests every single problem you face today has one singular, simple cause. You are terrified of being disliked. To understand how we can possibly make such a claim, we are going to look closely at one of the most transformative books of our time. This is The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. This work isn't just a guide to feeling better, it is a complete rethink of the ideas developed by Alfred Adler. Adler was a pioneer in psychology alongside giants like Freud. Yet his theories were different. He didn't believe we were broken machines fixed in the past. He believed we were active creators of our own lives. In this lecture, we are going to break down the work of Kishimi, Koga, and Adler to show you that the world is, in fact, remarkably simple. We will look at how to stop being a victim of what happened yesterday. We will start being the architect of what happens tomorrow. We are mapping out exactly how you can reclaim a life of total freedom. The reason this work is so vital right now is that we have become a society obsessed with looking in the rearview mirror to find the cause of our misery. We tell ourselves that we are this way because of our parents, or we say we are like this because of our ex. By reviewing the lessons in this book, we are going to uncover why we have been lying to ourselves about our potential. We will explore why we use our emotions to control people. We will see why our relationships feel like a competition. We will discuss why we are constantly exhausted by a boardroom of critics that lives only in our heads. This is about finding your own power. If you have ever felt like your life was a train running on tracks laid down by someone else, this journey will show you how to step off the train. You will realize that the tracks weren't even there. This fear of being disliked is the invisible weight pulling at your shoulders every time you enter a room. It is the reason you rehearse conversations in your head before they happen. It is the reason you lose sleep over a passing comment from a stranger. We live in a world addicted to getting a thumbs up from everyone else. We treat our lives like a theatrical performance where the audience's applause is the only thing keeping us on stage. But what if the audience isn't even looking at you? What if the secret to a truly liberated life isn't found in being loved by everyone? What if it is found in the radical courage to be okay with the right people not liking you at all? When we look at this addiction to approval, we find that it is actually a form of being self-centered. You might think you are being considerate by worrying about what everyone thinks. In reality, you are just obsessed with your own image. You are constantly looking into a social mirror. You are fixing your hair and adjusting your clothes. You are terrified that one small mistake will mean everyone hates you. This constant self-checking is exhausting. It requires you to be an actor in a play that never ends. The script is written by people who don't even know who you really are. By making your worth depend on the votes of others, you have essentially handed over the keys to your own life. You are no longer the captain of your ship. You are a piece of wood being tossed around by the opinions of friends, family, and strangers on the internet. Freedom begins the moment you realize that the audience you are performing for isn't really there. They aren't judging you. They are too busy worrying about their own lives. They are looking in their own mirrors and rehearsing their own lines. The stage is empty and the lights are off. You are finally free to walk away from the theater and just be yourself. The inner struggle we all recognize is the feeling of being stuck. We feel as though we are walking through deep water. We are carrying a heavy backpack full of rocks, labeled with our past mistakes. We look at our lives and see a list of things we can't do. We think we can't start that business because we failed before. We think we can't trust anyone because we were hurt years ago. This creates a deep ache. It is a sense that we aren't in charge of our own lives. We feel we are just reacting to a world that happened to us. We wait for someone else to give us permission to be happy. We do not realize we are the ones holding the pen to write the next chapter. This paralysis happens when we mistake the scars of our past for chains on our future. A scar is a mark of what happened, but a chain is something that stops you from moving. We often choose to believe our scars are chains because it feels better to be a prisoner than to be someone who is just afraid to move. If we are chained by trauma, then it isn't our fault that we aren't successful. We blame whatever happened to us. This belief is a safety net that catches us every time we want to grow. It prevents us from ever reaching a height where we might actually fail. However, that backpack of rocks we carry isn't actually strapped to us. We are holding onto it with both hands. We can drop it at any second. We choose not to because the weight is familiar. We know how it feels to be burdened. To let go of those rocks would mean we have to stand up straight. We would have to look the world in the eye without any excuses. This is the ultimate inner struggle. It is the conflict between our desire to be free and our deep attachment to the stories that keep us small, safe, and justified in being unhappy. To understand why we feel this way, we have to look at the work of Alfred Adler. Most of us believe that if we have a problem today, there must be a cause in our past. This is called etiology. It's the idea that your life is like a row of falling dominoes. If your childhood was bad, the dominoes fall and you end up unhappy today. While this makes us feel understood, it also creates a trap. It suggests we are like machines. If the machine was broken years ago, it stays broken. We become obsessed with why something happened. While the why explains things, it doesn't give us a way out. This obsession with why is a dead end. When you ask why, you are just looking for someone to blame. You are seeking a reason to say you are the way you are because of your past. This might make sense intellectually, but it doesn't move you forward. It's like being thirsty, but spending all your time researching the history of a drought instead of looking for a glass of water. Looking for causes gives you an explanation, but it doesn't give you an exit. It anchors you to the spot where you were hurt. It tells you that you have to stay there forever. Adler's big idea was a revolution. He refused to see humans as machines just reacting to things. Instead, he saw us as creative beings who decide what our experiences mean. In his view, a bad experience is not a cause that forces an effect. It is just material we use to build a life. The material doesn't decide the shape of the house. The builder does. And in the building of your life, you are the one holding the tools and the blueprint. This leads to the core idea of teleology. This is the study of purpose. Adler argued that we aren't pushed by our past. We are pulled by a goal we have right now. Imagine someone who says they can't leave their house because of social anxiety. One way to look at it is that they were bullied, but the Adlerian way is to say they use that fear to achieve a goal. That goal is staying inside. When you apply this to your own life, you see your emotions as tools rather than things you can't control. You don't lose your temper. You use your temper to get your way or make someone listen. You don't just have depression. You might be using a state of withdrawal to avoid the risks of being judged by others. This sounds tough, but it's actually the most empowering thing you can learn. If you are the one producing these feelings to serve a purpose, then you are also the one who can choose a different purpose. You can choose to feel differently. Kishimi and Koga show us in their book that we often lie to ourselves about the past. We do this so we don't have to face the hard work of changing today. Change is scary because it's the unknown. Being unhappy is something we are already good at. To be happy, we would have to learn new skills and take new risks. Teleology takes away our excuses. It leaves us with a simple choice. Do you want the safety of your old stories or the freedom of your new life? As long as you don't try, you can keep the fantasy that you are a genius who just hasn't had a big break yet. The moment you actually try, you risk finding out that you are just a normal person who has to work hard. For many, the dream of being special is more comfortable than the reality of being capable. We use our problems like a fortress to guard our pride. We prefer to be a troubled soul rather than a hard worker. This philosophy calls us out on that pride. It suggests that acting like we are better or worse than everyone else is just a way to feel special without actually doing anything. If we are the most hurt or the most misunderstood, we are still the main character in a tragedy. We use our pain to stay center stage. We make sure we never have to just be an average person working alongside everyone else. These ideas match the thoughts of Viktor Frankl. He survived the Holocaust and realized that even in the most horrible places, humans have one final freedom. That is the power to choose how they feel about what is happening. Kishimi and Koga argue that we choose unhappiness because it feels safe. To choose happiness requires the courage to be normal. It means we accept that we might not be special. We alone are responsible for our lives. This means we can't blame our parents or our luck anymore. When you stop looking back, you are forced to look at what you want right now. Frankl believed that meaning isn't something you find, but something you create. In the camps, he saw that people who had a goal for the future were the ones who survived. They weren't looking at the cause of their suffering. They were looking at the purpose of their life. This is the heart of the message. Your life is not about what happened to you. It's about what you plan to do with what happened to you. Kishimi and Koga emphasize that the courage to be normal is the real test. We live in a world that tells us we must be famous or extraordinary to matter. Because of this, accepting that you are just a person among other people feels like losing. But Adler says it's actually winning. When you stop trying to be special, you stop competing and start being a friend. You don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. You are free to just be. You can help others without needing a trophy for it. The big moment comes when we realize that all problems are really relationship problems. If you were the only person on earth, things like loneliness or failing wouldn't even exist. We carry a boardroom of critics in our heads. This is a jury of people from our past whose judgment we fear. We are constantly ranking ourselves in what Adler calls vertical relationships. Life is like a ladder. You are either above someone or below them. This boardroom of critics is something we built to keep ourselves safe, but it ends up being a bully. We are living for people who might not even be alive. We are living for people who haven't thought about us in years. We have let their gaze become our own. We aren't living our lives. We are managing our reputation. We are living in a hall of mirrors where every reflection is a judgment. This philosophy tells us to break those mirrors. It asks us to see that feeling not good enough isn't a fact. It's just a comparison. If you feel less than, it's because you've decided life is a ladder and you are on a lower step. But what if the ladder isn't real? What if there is no up or down? The moment you reject the hierarchy, the feeling of not being good enough disappears. There is no superior person to measure yourself against. In a vertical relationship, every person you meet is a potential enemy. They might be better than you. You can't truly be happy for a friend who succeeds because their win feels like your loss. This is where the not good enough feeling comes from. It's also where acting superior comes from. It is the need to brag, to hide the fear of being small. Both are just two sides of the same coin. It is a life lived in a competition instead of a community. This competitive mindset is a poison. When you are always comparing, you can't be honest or vulnerable. You have to keep your guard up because someone might take your spot. You are trapped in a constant war where even your friends are just rivals. You can't find peace at the top of a ladder because you are always afraid of falling off or being pushed. The only way to find peace is to step off the ladder entirely. You join everyone else on the horizontal plane. On this level, no one is your rival and no one is your judge. Everyone is just a person walking their own path. Their success is a reason to celebrate. It is not a reason to feel bad about yourself. This is the shift to horizontal relationships. It is the realization that we are all different but equal. Imagine a big, open field where everyone is walking. Some are ahead and some are behind, but no one is above or below. This means your value is already there. It doesn't need to be earned. When you see others as comrades instead of competitors, your anxiety goes away. You stop trying to be better and start trying to be helpful. This matches the work of Carl Rogers. He believed that mental health comes from accepting yourself without needing others to tell you you're okay. In a horizontal relationship, you aren't looking for praise. Praise is a judgment from someone who thinks they are above you. Instead, you are looking for a contribution. You are asking how you can help the group. This shift from what's in it for me to how I can help is the best cure for feeling lonely and anxious. Being helpful isn't about being a doormat. It's about knowing that your own happiness is linked to the happiness of those around you. When you help others, you aren't lowering yourself. You are connecting. You are realizing you are part of something bigger. Kishimi and Koga argue that this feeling of belonging is what we all really want. It only happens when we stop trying to be superior and just start being present for each other. This leads to the most useful tool. This is the separation of tasks. Most of our stress comes from task intrusion. You are either messing with someone else's job by trying to make them happy or change them, or you are letting them mess with yours. The book uses a simple image. You can lead a horse to water, but you cannot make him drink. This is the key to healthy boundaries. You are responsible for leading. The horse is responsible for drinking. If you spend your life trying to force the horse to drink, you will just end up tired and angry. This is how most bad relationships work. We try to change someone else, which is impossible. We forget to live our own lives, which is our only real job. Ask yourself in every conflict whose job this is. If your parents are unhappy with your choices, whose job is that unhappiness? It is their job. It is their responsibility to handle their own feelings. If you try to fix it by changing your life to please them, you are messing with their job and failing at yours. This isn't about being selfish. It's about being honest. It's about knowing where you end and someone else begins. Think about your work. If you worry about what your boss thinks of you, whose job are you worrying about? What the boss thinks is their job. Your job is just to do the best work you can. When you try to control their opinion, you are stepping into their soul. You have no control over how people see you. If you do your best and they still don't like it, that is their problem to solve. The moment you stop trying to manage everyone's opinion, you are free. This is the same as the dichotomy of control from Stoic philosophy. It is knowing what is up to you and what is not. Your goals and actions are up to you. Other people's opinions and actions are not. When you try to control what isn't yours, you become a slave to those things. By focusing only on your own tasks, you get your power back. This is the cure for social anxiety. We live in a world of likes and followers. We are always trying to manage our brand, but your brand lives in the minds of others. You can't control it. You can be the nicest person and still be misunderstood. Stop trying to build a brand and start building character. Focus on your job and your integrity. Let the world's job and its opinion be what it is. Integrating this requires a big shift. This is being versus doing. Our world values doing. We value people for their salary or their titles. We think that if we aren't productive, we are worthless. But Adler argues your value is in your being. It is in your very existence. Think of a baby or an elderly person who can't do anything. Are they worthless? No. Their existence alone is a gift to those who love them. This shift challenges the idea that we are just assets to be marketed. We measure ourselves in followers and promotions. But if you lose your job, your doing value might drop. Your being value stays infinite. You are still a member of the human family. You are still a unique presence. When you value being, you build your house on rock. Your existence is a fact that can't be taken away. If you can see yourself this way, you stop being a slave to your work. You are valuable just because you are here. This is a rejection of hustle culture. It suggests your worth is a constant. It is not a stock price that goes up and down based on your last win. When you stop trying to be special, you finally have the freedom to just be yourself. Hustle culture is just bullying yourself. It's always telling yourself you haven't done enough. It's living in the future where happiness is always one more goal away. This philosophy tells you to stop. You are already enough right now. Your being is the foundation. You don't have to be special to be worthy. You are already worthy. When you stop trying to be special, you also stop being afraid of being average. In a competition, average is a fail. But in a community, average is just the common ground where we all meet. It's where honesty lives. To have the courage to be normal means you don't need a pedestal to be seen. You just need to be there. You stop trying to stand out and start trying to connect. This leads to the idea of life as a dance. Many of us live linearly. We live like we are climbing a mountain. We think we will be happy when we get to the top, but if life is a climb, then most of your life is spent, not there yet. And if you never reach the top, your life was a failure. Adlerian philosophy says life is more like dancing or music. When you dance, the goal isn't to get to a certain spot on the floor. The goal is the dance itself. Every second is complete. This is an attack on destination happiness. We treat life like a commute. It is something to endure to get somewhere else. We endure school to get a job. We endure the job to get to retirement. We are always skipping now to get to then. But life only happens in the now. If you aren't happy now, you aren't happy. You are just waiting for a happiness that never comes. Kishimi and Koga argue that we should live life as an activity that is complete in itself. In a dance, it is complete at every second. If you live this way, then even if you died today, your life was complete. You haven't left anything unfinished. This is because the point of your life was the moment you were just in. This takes away the fear of the future. Life is just a series of dots called now. If you live with intensity in the now, your life is always complete. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need to choose to be a good person in this specific second. If you are washing the dishes, just wash the dishes. If you are talking to a friend, just be there. When you shine a light on the now, the past and the future fade away. This is like the state of flow. You are so involved in what you are doing that you forget about time. When an artist is in flow, they aren't thinking about fame. They are only thinking about the brushstroke right now. If you treat every interaction and every breath as a dot of life, your life becomes a masterpiece of being present. It is no longer a marathon of stress. When you live in the now, the critics in your head lose their power. They are always talking about the past or the future. They can't survive in the now. In the now, there is only the choice you are making. There is no room for comparison or fear. There is only the dance. And in that dance, you are finally and truly yourself. Finally, we get to the courage to be disliked. True freedom is not being loved by everyone. That is a trap because it forces you to wear a mask to please others. If everyone likes you, it means you have no shape and no truth. True freedom is the willingness to let people dislike you. It means you have the integrity to stand in your own truth. You cannot live for others without losing your own soul. To have this courage is to realize that the price of pleasing everyone is losing yourself. If you try to avoid being disliked, you are always checking the wind to see which way to lean. You are a weather vane, not a person. But when you accept that some people will dislike you, you stop checking the wind. You become your own person. Someone's dislike of you is just proof that you stand for something. Kishimi and Koga remind us that the goal isn't to make people dislike you. The goal is to accept it as the cost of being free. It is what happens when you live your own life. When you stop fearing judgment, you gain the courage to actually help people in a meaningful way. You aren't just pleasing them. Only when you are willing to be disliked can you offer the world your real self. The world is simple and life is simple. It is only our spectacles that make it complicated. We choose to wear the glasses of trauma and competition because they give us an excuse to stay where we are. But you can take them off. You can choose to see others as friends. You can separate your tasks. You can value being overdoing. and you can find the courage to be disliked. Taking off the trauma glasses is a rebellion. It's a refusal to let what happened to you dictate who you are. The world is not doing something to you. You are seeing something in the world. If it looks hostile, it's because you are looking through fear. If you change the lens to connection, the world becomes a place of possibility. The solution isn't to change the world or other people. It's to change how you see things. As Adler said, you are both the artist and the painting. You are painting your reality, and you can change the colors at any moment. Life becomes simple when you realize your only task is to be your best self in the now and let everything else go. Look at your life not as a story written by your past, but as a dance happening right now. You are not a victim of what happened. You are the author of what you do next. The music is playing. The audience doesn't matter. Their task is to watch. Your task is to dance. Stop waiting for the applause. The only approval you ever needed was your own. The moment you stop caring about being liked, you finally and truly start being alive. Take the leap. The final leap is the realization that you have always been free. You have always had the power to decide what your life means. The chains you thought were there were just ideas you were holding on to. When you let go, you realize you aren't falling. You are flying. The dance is yours. The freedom is yours.